Some Magazine.
Hello, Guru Believers. Dave Dreher here with you once again. And as I've been doing a lot recently, I have yet another author that we're going to be conversing with today. We actually spoke with Anthony before, but he's got a new release out. And so I wanted to make sure you all knew about it. And plus, I just find Anthony to be an incredibly inspirational individual. So I always, when I get the opportunity to talk with him, I want to do so. Mr. Anthony Northrup, welcome to my little corner of the world.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for having me. Hello to everybody who's tuning in. Happy to be here.
So just a quick recap. You recently released your third in a trilogy of books about Stephen King's Dollar Babies. And I think most people are probably somewhat familiar with them, but why don't you give us just a quick recap of what a Stephen King Dollar Baby is?
Okay. Class in session. Okay, so basically, in a nutshell, in the late 70s, Stephen King had this idea of having filmmakers, preferably like college filmmakers, make short films based on his short stories for $1 and a signed contract. It was called the Dollar Baby deal back then, or Dollar Baby program. And what they did was the filmmaker had to get approved by King himself. And once he did that and the contract was signed and the dollar paid, they went out with their money, their camera, their crew, everything. They went out, they made their short film, they sent it to King. Once they sent it to him and he watched it, it got his approval. And then that film got to be played at film festivals all around the world. Well, back in the late 70s, when it first started, there was only just a very small amount of filmmakers that did this, but then it picked up over the decades. And next thing you know, in the 80s, there was that first generation of Dollar Babies like Frank Darabont and James Cole and others. And then it took a little low point, and then it picked back up again once word got around. And then the 90s and 2000s, it really took off. And then everybody was grabbing a camera and signing a contract and paying $1 and making short films. And now even King himself even said, I don't even know how many there really are. Some people made some without his consent, and I don't recognize those as Dollar Baby films. I don't. And so there's been film festivals over the years where these films have been played and people can see. That's the only way to see them. And then there was some film festivals that I was part of that people were able to see them at, and online and live. And these are, like I said, these are short films based on Stephen King's short stories. Mostly the stories came from like the books of Night Shift, Skeleton Crew, Nightmares and Dreamscapes. Those are Just After Sunset. Those are the popular ones where the stories came from.
And now he just recently ended that program, correct?
Yes, a couple years ago, sadly, he did end it. I, for one, was very upset. I was very sad. I was very disappointed. I was felt kind of gutted, really. In the Dollar Baby world community and fans, there was like a huge worldwide gasp, because the way I look at it, there's the opportunities for so many filmmakers out there who are just hearing about the Dollar Baby program, and they were like, oh man, I want to do that. I've got talent, or I want to be part of this. And then it got cut off and ended, and they're like, well, there goes my 15 minutes of fame, there goes my hopes and dreams, there goes my part of being the Stephen King universe. I felt sad for those folks. They didn't get that chance. So all the ones who did get to have that chance, I believe and feel that these films are gems. These are, a priceless, diamond, if you will, of films, because, that time will never come again, sad to say.
Yeah. And like I said, you just recently released your third book, Dollar Baby Encore. And hey, I got to say, these things are doorstops. I mean, you're not like writing 2 paragraphs about each thing. These are in-depth, deep dives into these films. In a lot of cases, you've interviewed the filmmakers, you've talked to people involved. I mean, again, I don't remember. I know the new book is just shy of 1,000 pages, right?
Let me show you. This is the first book. That was 500 and change pages, almost 600. Okay. This. See, I can't pick it up. That is the second book. That's 958 pages. Okay. Now, this is the third book. Okay. This is 850 some pages. You can see the difference in size of the first
That's
to
great.
the
So
last.
you're like 2,500 pages in the trilogy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's yeah.
yeah, that's just absolutely amazing. It really truly is.
Yeah.
I have to ask, what caused you to go here? I obviously big King fan, right?
No,
But
yeah.
what made you specifically think, this dollar baby world needs a deep exploration? What was the catalyst?
Well, I've told this story before, and I like this telling this story. I went through the King, the beginnings of learning his works, watching the movies. In fact, I became a King fan watching his movies before I even started reading his books. I did a reverse. I did the movies first, then the books, and I did everything. I read everything that was available. I watched all the movies up until a certain point, and then there was this one year where I felt like, I want to go past that. I don't want to be just a fan. I don't want to be just another face in the fandom crowd. I want to do something else. I want to study King's works. So then I took like a year and I started reading all these different books about King. Stephen Spignesi being numero uno as far as that goes. He's written more books about King than anyone. And he had the encyclopedia, the Stephen King encyclopedia book. And I was reading that, and that's a doorstop in itself. And there was a part in there where it talks about dollar babies, and there was a part in there with James Cole, who's a dollar baby, and I was reading his contribution to it. And I'm like, dollar baby, what is that? I've never heard of that before. So I'm reading this in this book, and I'm like, wow, this is really, really cool. This is really interesting. I felt like I found I don't know. it was exciting. Okay.
Something special, right?
Yeah, there you go. Okay. So right close to that time, on social media, Dollar Baby Billy Hansen, who did Survivor Type, had posted on his page, "Hey guys, my Dollar Baby film is going to be playing at festival, Survivor Type. Come see it." And I saw the name Dollar Baby, put two and two together, and I was like, "Hey, I found the connections."
Right.
I reached out to Billy and I said, "Hey, I do celebrity interviews and book reviews and film reviews. Can I interview you and review your film?" And told him about my King fandom and so forth. And he said, "Yeah, go ahead." And I did. He loved it so much. He told his Dollar Baby friends. And then it just was a snowball. It just rolled over and over. Next thing you know, I get all these different Dollar Babies sending me messages and emailing me, say, "Hey, will you interview me? Interview me?" And next thing you know, I've got such a huge pile. I'm like, I need to do something with this. And a very close friend of mine, another author, said, "Hey, you got to do something with these. You got to put them in a book." And I'm like, "Well, I don't have a publisher." So he goes, "I have a friend who's a publisher, and he's a King fan. I'll hook you up." And I'm like, "Okay." One thing led to another, got the signed contract, and that's when the first book came out, January of 2021.
That's amazing. Now, how long did it take you to actually put it together? Like you said, you kind of did the core interviews for the first book, like over a period of time. But when
Yeah.
you decided, okay, now I got to put this into book form, what did that look like?
The first one?
Yeah, the very first one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I had so much material for the first one already. It was practically done. I mean, it had written itself. The only thing I really added was some more extra interviews in it, and then I reached out to some friends and some Stephen King universe people, and I said, "Hey, would you like to be a contributor with an essay or interview you or some other things?" And that's why it's not just Dollar Baby interviews and film reviews. There's some other fun things in there, not just that. And once I put those things in there, the book was ready to go. This went actually quite quickly because most of it was already done already.
It's like it was destined to be. It like created itself. You were just a portal to make it happen.
I really truly feel that. I really do.
Yeah.
I feel that everyone has some kind of a reason, a purpose, a destiny on this planet. And I truly believe this is what I was supposed to do. And I did it. So, and I feel really proud of it. And I hope people are enjoying them.
They certainly seem to be. So then that obviously led to the second book, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which came out how long after the first one?
The second one came out in 2024, October of 2024, Halloween actually. And so there was a lot that happened between 2021 and 2024 though, Dave. I was a host of the Stephen King Rules Dollar Baby Film Festival, which was online and live because that was during the pandemic, so we couldn't do it in person. And so these films and interviews were done with me and three others online live for 3 days, and people saw it all around the world, and that was a lot of fun. So that happened. I did a lot of podcast interviews. I did a lot of in-store book signings, appearances, stuff like that. And that was from 2021 all the way up into 2022 of August when we did the Stephen King Rules Dollar Baby Film Festival again, not just live on YouTube online, but also live in person in Davenport, Iowa at the Alternating Currents Film Festival. And that was a 5-day fest in Davenport,
Wow.
Iowa. And that was a lot of fun.
That's a huge one.
Yes, it's a big one because they spotlight not just films, but stand-up comedy, music, art. And I just absolutely love Davenport. Davenport was a wonderful city, and they treated us very well while we were there. That really just took off once we did that second one. And then, sorry about that. And then after that, there was more podcasts and more interviews and appearances in magazines like Fangoria and Horror Hound and Road Morgue and stuff. So once those couple of years of all that roller coaster ride that I was going through slowed down just a little bit, I'm like, people said, well, my publisher's like, what are you going to do next? And I'm like, well, maybe a second one. And he's like, yes, I want you to do a second one because your book took off. You were #1 on Amazon for 2 months. And I was like, okay. So I got started on the second one, and it came out Halloween, October of 2024.
Which is great. And then obviously we're finally getting to what we're here to talk about today, which is Dollar Baby Encore, the third installment of this. And we actually, the whole way I ended up kind of getting involved with you or speaking with you is because I got involved with the October Roses Dollar Baby here in Kent. And I believe I reached out to you because I had got asked to host a panel with the director and Robert Kurtzman, who'd done the special effects and stuff like that. And I'd reached out to you and I was like, help, how do I do this? And so that was really my first foray into the Dollar Baby universe. But, it was fascinating. And I thank you personally for your help in helping me get prepared for that. That was amazing. It's still one of the high points of my a non-career that I don't really have. I just kind of do this as a little side gig, but still to be able to do something like that, to be up on the stage with, the director and the stars and Robert Kurtzman, and it's like, what is going on? Right.
Yeah.
But so obviously October Roses is in the third installment. So were you able in this third installment to actually get all the way up to the last one that was granted?
Yes. Actually, okay. So actually, okay. There's someone here keeps telling me I should show this book again. Okay, here's the book again.
Show the book.
All right. Anyway, so first of all, October Roses is a really, really wonderful Dollar Baby. I'm not just saying that because I'm on your show. I really mean that was a really good one. I enjoyed it a lot. It was very creepy. They did a very well done job, and the budget and the production and everything. It was all very well done. And what was cool about that is I got to interview the director of the film, a couple of cast members, Robert Kurtzman and his wife Marcy King. They're wonderful people. And but that wasn't the last one, Dave. The last Dollar Baby film is called The Dedication, and that is from Adrienne. I don't remember her last name, but it's a Japanese Dollar Baby film, the first and only that I've ever seen and heard of. And she was the actually last and final Dollar Baby film, and I made sure that she made this book because I wanted to get as current with this book before it went to press as possible. And that was, once I got that, I'm like, okay, it's ready to go. I got all the way to the end. And not to mention, once the program ended in December of 2023, that was the bookend of this whole thing anyway, because I figured, well, there's my ending. The program's ended, so it's time to end the trilogy.
Yeah, it kind of made up its mind for you, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like in the trilogy of books you've gotten the wealth of them, though? You've gotten 95% of all the Dollar Babies? Or, I mean, is there any way to gauge that? Because like you said earlier, even Stephen King himself is like, I'm not really sure how many there are out there.
Say is that this is the official Dollar Baby book trilogy, and only the official Dollar Baby films are in these books. So like I said before, anything that someone made and it didn't get King's approval or was not signed by a contract, those films are not in these books. These are only books that had the contract and are official. So everything's official
as it should be. And I think that's important, because anybody who's going out doing it behind King's back, or isn't following the rules of the program, that's just not. I mean, come on, one of if not the best writer of our generation is letting you do something with his words for $1. You can't
Yeah.
pay the buck.
Yeah, I
Give
know.
me a
It's
break.
crazy. I know it's crazy, and I really frown hard on those people that try to squeak through and say, "Oh no, I got his approval. Oh yeah, it's official." And I do my research and I found out that it wasn't. Or those people who slipped them online or on YouTube and they weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
I frown on that too. I'm like, there's a contract, there's rules to follow. Follow the rules, or I don't recognize it. That's just me.
And I'm kind of wandering into weird territory here, and this is obviously just opinion. But what do you think caused Stephen King to stop the program, or is there something out there that did he make some type of official announcement of why he's no longer doing it?
The only reason in anything that I heard that he said when he put online was that his secretary, one of his secretaries, who's in charge of that particular department of his offices and business, it was retiring. And since she was retiring, he felt that it was time to just end the program. He didn't want to find someone else to take over it. And that was it. It didn't really go into any other great detail than that. Me personally, I think he should have found somebody else, or maybe have his son or somebody pick up the torch and carry it on. I mean, just the opportunity, all these people out there, there's so much talent that are missing this chance. I mean, it just really doesn't sit right with me.
I think personally he should have hired you to do it, and then you could have hired me as your assistant.
I have heard that multiple times.
That's what I'm thinking.
I've heard that many times from different people, and I'm like, okay. I would do it in a heartbeat. Yeah.
So just so everyone knows, in the text of this interview, when I post this up on the site, I will have links to all 3 of the books. So anyone who's interested in going and picking it up, I know it is available on Amazon. I'm a big one. I personally feel it should be ordered from the publisher. That's just me. There's no difference in price, and this way the publisher's getting all the funds.
Yeah,
as opposed to Amazon taking their cut.
Yeah, I mean, I support Joe Bezos enough. I think I paid for his last space shuttle. That's but yeah, I mean, Amazon's quick and easy, but at the same time, when you help the author and the publishing company better by ordering it direct from the publisher, which is Bear Manor Media Publishing, by the way. So if you go to their website, you can order it there, and it is available in Kindle, paperback, and hardback. So you get all 3 to choose from.
You got to have one of each. I mean, that's the only answer.
One of each. For a friend. Father's Day's this weekend. Order one for Father's Day. There you go.
So if you don't mind, Anthony, if any of these questions I'm about to ask you make you uncomfortable, I can edit them out, or we don't have to talk about this. But I personally, and I talked with you about this a little bit before we started recording, I personally find you as an author completely fascinating and completely awe-inspiring. I really, truly do. And I was nervous about how to say this to you, because I don't want you in any way to take this that I don't think you're a professional writer, because I know you are. But you also just work a regular job. I mean, you're not out touring cities, and you're not on press junkets and all that type of stuff. You go to work 9 to 5, and then you come home and you write these massive tomes.
Yeah.
What does it just come easily for you, or is it just a love of what you're doing? What is your personal inspiration for it?
Okay. At the end of the day, I'm a fan. I'm a Stephen King fan, and not just a fan. I admire his work. I admire the stories. I love good storytelling, solid, good storytelling, where you feel for the characters, good or bad. You hope there's a happy ending. There never is one in King's books, but I at the end, that's just me. I've been following him and his works since I was 9 years old. I saw The Shining in 1980 opening weekend, and from that moment on, that was it. So I felt the destiny right there.
Yeah.
It was either that or write books on Star Wars, one of the two. No, no, seriously. Yeah, I do have 9 to 5 job, and some authors do. There's a friend of mine who has 60 books under his belt. He still has a regular job, and it's like, are you kidding me? But
that's
hey,
crazy. That's amazing.
You got to pay the bills, Would I like to be touring and doing more in-store book signings and go to other states? And absolutely, I would love to. But in the meantime, till opportunities come, I just write, But this year,
have you written anything like that's not reference in nature, like short stories or
Yes.
fiction or anything like that?
Yes, absolutely. When I first started writing, I started in 1990, and I just took a, I was single, living with a couple of roommates, and I just kind of, I don't know, I just something drew me to just storytelling. So I actually wrote 9 books and 12 short stories, and I stuck them in the drawer, and they're collecting dust. And that stayed that way up until I moved here to this state, and I actually got a job as a contributor to the local newspaper, and I wrote 200 plus articles for the paper, got 2 state writers awards, hosted a couple of film festivals, thanks to being part of the press. And so I went from fiction to nonfiction because of doing book reviews, film reviews, celebrity interviews, and writing for the paper. And then that's led me to where I'm at with the Dollar Baby books. As far as writing anything that's published that's not Dollar Baby related, yes, I did. A couple of years ago, my friend Samantha Chambers, her pen name is MS Chambers, she wrote a book called Macabre, a horror anthology, and she, myself, my wife, and a handful of others made this short story collection anthology, and I wrote the introduction for the book, and my short story in it is called Limited Edition, and it's a really fun Twilight Zone meets Creep Show type of a story, and it's one of my favorite stories I wrote, and she published it. So that is one thing that's out there that's not King related.
Well, now I have to go searching for it. See how you are. Oh, that's great. That's great. I just find you, bravo to you. I mean, I think these 3 books are amazing. They certainly filled a void of something that I'm not sure a lot of people even realized there was a void there until you recognized it, and and came up with these 3 wonderful encyclopedic yet incredibly entertaining works. So I encourage everyone, if you're a Stephen King fan, if this is in your collection, then your collection is not complete. It's pretty much that simple. So
thanks. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate these kind and generous words you're saying.
Absolutely. Well, it's because it's true. So, so what is next? Do you know what's next for Anthony Northrup? What do you got? What's in the works?
I do have some things on the in the burner there. Right now, I'm in the middle of a promise. I promised my wife I would take 6 months off from writing because I spent. You have to understand something. I wrote these 3 books in 5 years.
Yeah, that's insane.
So that's 5 years of writing, going to work, writing, going to work. So my wife's to-do list and, vacations and, alone time and things like that is about a mile long. I told her when this 3rd book came out, I promise you 6 months I'm going to take off, maybe even 8 months, just get projects done, decorate the house, whatever you want to do, and then I'm going to go back and start, my next project. So I have to keep that promise. So I'm in the middle of doing that right now. However, I am doing just a little bit of my next book, only for the fact that certain people in the film industry, you're kind of like on their schedule. So it's like if they say, hey, I'll be a contributor to your book, but you better interview me now because I'm not going to have time later. I'm like, okay. So I kind of have that, and then I put it to the side. And then when I start the next book full throttle at the end of summer, I'll be ready to go.
Excellent. Fantastic. I think it's great. Again, I'll have all the links to everything in the text of the book. Anthony, I can't thank you enough for taking the time with me today and talking about all this. You're a fascinating individual.
Well, thank you, Dave. I really appreciate it. And if I can just add 2 things just really quickly.
Absolutely. Please do.
One of them is, in case some people were wondering, I'm not going to reveal what the next book is, but I will say this. It is Stephen King themed. It is Stephen King related. It's a book that's going to be a lot of fun to write. There's a lot of people going to be happy about this book. Will the Dollar Babies be back? I don't know.
I was gonna ask you, but I didn't know if you were being coy or not. So I'm like, okay, I won't press him. I'll just let it go. So.
I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, something's happening. This is
that's great. That's great. I'm already excited for it. So hopefully it doesn't take you too long to get it done. It doesn't. If your past works are any example, you're a quick writer. So I don't think even after your little hiatus here, you'll have it out sooner than later.
It is scheduled to be out in 2027. That I can tell you.
Excellent.
It will be out next year. The book will be out next year. The other thing is there's I would mention to MS Chambers about the anthology I was part of. Well, she wants to do that again, but just novellas and maybe about 5 or 6 people, and that's it. So one of my fiction stories will be in that book. So that'll be out we're hoping either end of this year or next year, one of the two. So that's
I also want to make sure we mention too, because I know you're a big part of the Stephen King catalog.
Mhm.
I collect all those as well. I almost forgot about it. I'm glad you, as I was getting ready to wrap things up, because I wanted to make sure to mention that to people. If you go to, I believe it, isn't it StephenKingCatalog.com? I can't remember his website.
Yep, it's Stephen King catalog.com. It's Dave Henchberger. He puts out the Stephen King annuals, which is a super nice thing that he does every year, which is a hardback annual, which is a calendar, but it also has tons of articles and interviews and fun facts and stuff about whatever theme that is. And each year there's a different theme. This year's 2026 edition is the 40th anniversary of It. And I have a contribution in that. I will be in the next one, the 2027 edition. I don't think I'm allowed to say what it is yet, so I won't say anything. But I would highly recommend getting those as well.
Yeah, they're great. I've been collecting them since, I don't even know how long they've come out. I don't think I have the very first one, but I've been collecting them since then, and they're great. And your articles, your involvement in them has been amazing as well. So someplace else you can pick up your work. And again, I'll put a link in the text. For anyone who might not know where they're there. I
also have
amazing.
The Stephen King fan page, All Things King, which is on Facebook. I've been running that for 14 years now. We have members who come there every single day to see what I have to say about Stephen King, trivia, games, breaking news, fun stuff all the time. So if you go to Facebook to All Things King, we're there, and you're more than welcome to be there. 14 years is a long time running a fan page, let me tell you. So there's that. And the one other thing I just want to throw in one more quick thing about these the new book. Well, all these books really, but especially the third one here. For those who are on the fence, should I buy it or not? It's not just Dollar Baby interviews and film reviews, but there's also essays from celebrities and filmmakers and authors who are in the Stephen King universe. There's original art pieces and photos you won't see anywhere else. And there's fun facts and trivia, but mostly it's the Dollar Babies story. Some of these people had happy endings, some people didn't. And so when you read these stories of their life and what it took to make these films, the blood, sweat, and tears and stuff, you just sit there and you're just like, wow, you're just amazed of what people go through to make a film. And I got the stories, out of them. I got their stories and I put them out there. And these folks are really happy that I did this because no one really knew anything about this before, and they didn't know what it took to make these films. And I felt that it was my purpose to get their stories out there. And I'm glad I did, because like I said, some are happy endings and some aren't.
Yeah. It's some fascinating reading. I have not made it all the way through the third one. I did purchase it, and of course I had to look up the October Roses section just to see what was going on there. But I have not picked it up and read it from cover to cover yet. But it's in my TBR pile, so it's going to be coming up. But the first two were amazing, and I know this third one is going to be just as, if not better.
Yeah, so, I feel, I love all three of them, but if I had to pick one, I would say that the third one is definitely just really special, and it's a really good closure, for the trilogy. It's everything you could think of you would want in a part three, so to speak.
Well, it's great. Again, like I said earlier, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me about all this, and I've already got a place in the calendar for when your next one comes out. So,
well, I'll be more than happy to be back on the show when it comes out.
Fantastic. Thank you, Anthony. I really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on, Dave. Appreciate it.
Gruesome Magazine.